Once you log into the app, your interface will look like this, and you'll see a little link here at the bottom. If you click on it, it'll take you to a blog post. Once you scroll down, this blog post is a step-by-step on how to add your staff members, how to prep your data. It has a chat function that links directly to support. And then if you come to step 2 over here, you'll find the download template. So this one over here is the one that you'll use to add all of your clients. And we update it after every release. So it'll always be the most up-to-date one. And it'll look like this. So yours will obviously be blank, but you do have a little guide row at the top. And this basically just gives you little hints on each column and how to fill in that particular column. If we just go through it very quickly, then you can add the name of your client, add a status. The system will only schedule for active clients. So inactive and pending clients won't schedule until you switch them on. You can add a rate group. These I'll show you in the app. We do give you a few rate groups, but you can change them and add them as you wish. If you change a rate group to add your own, we ask that you just add them here in the tips and format sheet, and that'll immediately update the drop-down within the main sheet. You can add a comment, add an entity type. This you can also just choose from the drop-down to make it easier. Add a registration number, registration date. This one is quite important because we do use it to schedule quite a few tasks. And when you add that, we ask that you use the format day, month, year, as you can see here at the top. That is the system date format. Year end is also quite important. If it's an individual, just add February as the year end. But this also has a drop down that you can select from. Then you can add a trading name if different from the client name. Groups, this is often used if you have multiple, say, directors, for example, that are from the same company, but you do all of their tax for them, then you can just add them under the same group over here. Make a little note that they're all from the same company. You can add a primary contact number, email, then all of your tax and UIF registration numbers. Then we come to the accountant table. It's very important within these roles and accountant tables that the name is exactly the same as it is within the app. So I'll show you how to add that now. But once you've added them to the app, we just ask that you come and copy and paste the names into this accountant column over here in the tips and format sheet. That will again create a drop down for all of the various role columns. So once you click here, you'll see all of your staff members and you can just add them in the appropriate role. The accountant column, that's for like the main person in charge of the client. So if you have one staff member taking care of all of the tasks for that particular client, you can assign them under the accountant column, and they will then be assigned as the accountant for each task. You have the option of adding a partner and manager. These will just pull through to all of the tasks as well. Then accounting role, if we look in the app now, you'll see various departments once you open your database. So all of these over here, they refer to the various departments. We have accounting, SIPC, financials and tax, payroll, and then tax. Then in the app itself, that relates to these columns over here. So if you have someone that just does all the accounting tasks for the client, you would assign them over here. If you have someone that just does SIPC for the client, you will assign them over here, etc. And then whoever's assigned here will override the accountant that is assigned over here for that particular department. And so, for example, if Jane does all the SIPC tasks, then under all the SIPC roles, Jane will be the accountant instead of David, but for all other tasks, David will still be assigned as the accountant. Okay, then we have accounting. Here you have the option to select annual, biannual, monthly, none, or quarterly. If you select annual, biannual, or quarterly, please just specify a starting date so the system knows when to schedule the first task, and then we'll automatically continue from there on. You also have the option to select the due date that you would like the task to be scheduled for. Then we have VAT. If VAT is selected as true, please select a VAT type, just also so the system knows when to schedule the VAT for. Payroll, you can switch on, and then you can also select a due date for monthly payroll. If you don't select a due date, the system will default it to the 25th of the month. And then you have the option to select true or false for weekly payroll as well as bi-weekly. And once again, if it's bi-weekly, please just set the initial due date so the system can start scheduling from there on. Then you can switch on EMP 201, EMP 501, income tax, provisional tax, turnover tax, UIF. UIF over here is for clients that you have to submit on filing for, so domestic clients, for example. Workmen's, you can also switch on and then just make a note from where you need to catch up the financials. Then you can specify if you have an external documents folder for that particular client, as well as switch on the SIBSI annual returns. Under accounting program, this is where you'll just indicate which accounting program that client uses, so you know which programs fees to claim back for. Management reports, you can just indicate whether you do that or not. And then bank statements. Here you have the option to select bank feed, request statement, or self-download. If you select request statement, then the system has the ability to email them automatically, asking them to please send their statements for that particular month. I'll show you how to do that later on as well. Then e-filing logins, you can indicate whether it's on the firm's or your own. And then just add all of the various login details, as well as their physical address and postal address if you want to store that. And then currently you have the ability to add 3 directors as well as their ID numbers. We are busy adding another tab specifically for directors to capture their personal information as well, because we have been asked by a few of our users to do that. So soon that'll be a separate Excel sheet that'll then go to a separate tab within the app. You can also specify whether this client is on a retainer or not, as well as give them an internal rating and show who they were referred by if you have a reward structure within your firm, and add an internal client code. Once you have added all of this, we ask that you just delete the first row over here and then save the file as an Excel SX. So once that's done, you'll come to the app to do the import. But as I said, when you need to add your accountants and then make sure they're the same in the Excel as in the app. So to add your accountants, you'll just go to setup and then go to the accountant table. Okay, over here in the top right-hand corner, there's an add record button. If you click on that, you can add the staff member's name as well as the email. And then here we have our various roles. So an admin user will have access to the entire app. So all the tables and departments that you see over here. They're also the only role that is able to delete a client. Okay, partners will have the same rights as an admin, so they can see all tasks for all team members, but they can't delete a client. Then a bookkeeper, they will also see all departments and all tables over here. Currently, bookkeepers filter on their own tasks only. We are busy changing that, so you have the option to say you want them to see all staff or just their own. The assistant role, this is for secretaries or PAs, people that basically help out and just want to update client information, but they don't necessarily want to track tasks within the app. This role is free of charge, but they will be restricted to all tasks due, the chat, clients, and then the ad hoc task group. Okay, custom roles. Once you select custom, you need to specify which department you want them to see. So once again, accounting refers to this department over here. If you click on it, it will expand so you can see which tables it includes. If someone is selected as a custom role with accounting, they'll see all tasks due, chats, clients, share register, the first department, ad hoc tasks, and then accounting. If they're selected for sub C, they'll see all of the ones above that I just mentioned, and then the sub C department only, not the accounting or any of the others. Same for financials and payroll, and then tax. Then if you scroll down even further, there's an option to filter on own. This relates to the custom roles. So if you select, say, accounting and sub C for someone, and you don't tick this, they will see their own tasks and all of the other tasks within the accounting and sub C department. But as soon as you switch on filter on own, they'll only have access to their own tasks, and they won't have a cluttered feed with all other staff members' tasks. Okay, once you have added your staff member, you can click Save and New, and a blank screen will open for you to add another staff member. Once that is done, you can, if you haven't changed the rate groups, you can do the import, and the import will be successful. If you want to add your own rate groups on the initial import, then we ask that you come down to the setup section and then go to rate group. Here we have given you examples of the rate groups that we have included in the Excel. And if you want to change any of them, you can just click on the record and then change the name as well as the note. You can also add a new one by clicking on Add Record in the top right corner. It's important that these names are the exact same again as in the Excel. So you can just click on them and then copy and paste them over into that tips and format sheet that I spoke about earlier. Okay, so the way that the system sets this up now, after you assign a rate group, you need to assign the rates for that specific rate group. We have given you this table pre-populated as an example. And then we advise that if you change the rate groups, you can just download this table by clicking on the three-dot menu and then on download. This will give you a CSV that you can just open in Excel and change all the rates as you wish. After that's done, you can click on this little square over here and click run, so it deletes all of the current records within the table. Once the entire table is empty, you can click on the three dots over here and select upload, then just drag and drop the CSV back into the app. And it will populate the table once again with your new rates. So if you do this upload, please save the file as a CSV, not an XLSX for this upload, but for the main upload, keep it in SLSX. Okay, so once rates have been set up and the accountants have been added, you can now add all of your clients. To do that, go to the data upload table, click on add record in the top right corner, then just click save and edit. And that will reveal a documents tab over here at the top. There you can click on the little plus icon and a screen will pop up where you can just add your, let me just find that one quickly. And where you can just add the template that you have just worked on. Okay, the document will attach. As soon as it attached, you'll see it over here. Then make sure status shows submit and click save. It does take a few minutes for the system just to analyze your data and import all of your clients. And so wait a minute or two and then click data upload once again. Give it a few more seconds. We want to wait for the status to change to processed. So if there's an error, you'll see in the notes, it will display an error message, just indicating where you can change your details within the Excel SX file. The system is quite nice in the sense that it gives you the error up to the cell count. So you'll see exactly where your error is and what the error is. So you are able to correct it quite quickly. Here you can see this one now shows processed, and it says that it uploaded 42 rows, it inserted 42 and updated 0 clients. If I already had clients in my database and I uploaded a new Excel, it might have shown that it had updated 3 clients, for example. That just means that those 3 clients were already in the system, which could indicate that you have duplicate files, or you might know about it and you just wanted to update some information for those clients. So a nice way to just double check that it did actually import everything that it says is if I have 43 clients within my Excel, but the first row is a column heading, then I have 42 clients. So I can just go to the client table and then look in the bottom right-hand corner. You can see it also shows 42, which means that my upload was successful and all my clients have been imported. Okay, immediately over here, all of the client details that I just added, I can see, and I can click on any client record, expand it, and then change any of the details or switch on more services where I want. Yeah, you can come and change client details at any point and just click save, and those tasks will immediately schedule. To add a new client, you simply click on add record here at the top again and add all of your client details, as well as the staff looking after that client, and save a new, then the client will schedule in the app. Then if we start from the top, working through all of the tables, the system works in 2 ways. So we have a few tables that we schedule for you automatically based on the information that you gave us within the client table. And then we have 3 tables that are manual for more once-off or ad hoc tasks, and another table that you can schedule yourself for odd tasks, and they will keep on scheduling into the future. So if we start at the top, the all tasks due table gives you an overview of all of the tasks you have coming up. Anything in pink is overdue, the due date has already passed. Then if you scroll down, anything in yellow is coming up in the coming week. And then further down, that is for a future date. You'll see little hot links under each column heading. If you click on the hot link, it'll take you to the appropriate table filtered on that specific task, and you can immediately start working on the task from there.
Sorry, just to pop in here. I saw when I worked with it, if you go back to all tasks due and you scroll right, there's no way to fix the client name. Because I saw now when you scrolled, or even the accountant, that one that has the lock thing, do you just click on it and then when you lock it and you go left, then it stays in place? Am I messing up? Yeah, you see, that's what I want, exactly that. So you just click on it. Can anybody? Okay.
Yes,
because that was quite frustrating for me, and I knew somewhere I'm missing something, because this is an awesome program and it's not supposed to be frustrating like that. So I knew I was missing something. So yeah.
Okay, no, I'm glad we showed you that now.
Yeah, okay,
and this lock will remember your preference. So if you log out and come back now, this lock will stay locked until you unlock it again. But a very nice feature that we just added that will also help you a lot in that case is that if you now go to the main table, then we have introduced a little hide icon.
Oh, I see.
So once you click on the hide icon, it will hide those particular columns within your view.
Oh, yes.
And I think that's very beneficial for a few people that, for example, don't have managers. They only have like a one-man band, or they have a few people, so they work on accountants and partners, for example.
Yeah.
Then they can just go and hide the manager column. It'll just completely take them out of your view. And then to bring them back, you click on the 3 dots, manage columns, and then you'll see the one over here
Oh, you just
that you have hidden, and you can just bring it back. My chats, so here you can go onto any task and immediately chat to your team members. At this point, you have to @ the person. So I can say, for example, @ David. And then once David logs into his My Chat, he'll see a record like this with a number in it. And he can immediately click on the hot link and see what I wrote and reply again. He then just has to @ me again, so @ Lynn. We are currently working on a way for it to register that a chat is happening. So once the first @ was done, then the chat will just continue and the counter will keep on counting up. In here now, if you know that you've read the chat, just come back to the My Chats and then change the status to read. Then the counter will default again to 0. Once David responds, there'll be another 1 over here. So you know that there's one message you haven't read or responded to yet. And if you know that the chat is done or it's a group chat and you no longer want to be part of it, then you can just change the status to completed. And the chat will vanish until they directly @ you again. Once you are mentioned in that way, then the chat will pop back up. Okay, so reports. Reports, we have a few. The first one is the data audit. This has progressed quite a bit this past week now, so it's quite a nice one to show. If you have any error in your data, then if you come to the data audit, it will give you a note. So this one just says to me now that I have quite a few people who don't actually have access to the app, who have tasks, like Sue, for example, and then also that I have turnover tax and income tax switched on for the same client, as well as turnover and provisional here. So you can just see all of your areas. For example, if you have provisional tax tick, don't have a year end, then the system needs a year end to actually schedule that task. So it'll just inform you over here, please go and pick a year end for that client. Then we have your task due list for the next 30 days. This is the one that gets emailed out every Monday morning, and it gives you a breakdown of all of your staff members and the tasks that they have coming up. Again, pink is overdue, yellow is coming up in the week. And then this particular report counts up to the next 30 days only. So anything in white is coming up in the next 30 days. Once you move further to the side, then it gives you a breakdown per staff member, and then shows you the task and the client in a list view. You can download this as an Excel or a PDF to use for meetings or send out as a breakdown. Then the next report is time to invoice. I'll get to that one later when we do the billing. Firm summary just gives you a summary of all of your active clients only. So it shows you a breakdown of the entity types that you have. This is quite a nice way just to know who your firm caters for most. And we realize that this is quite a nice way to up your advertising game as well, because then you know where your strengths lie. So last one that we have is accountant times. This one is also quite new and we're still developing it further, but you can basically select a date and then see for all of your team members or just for one, you can see what they have been working on. Okay, if you haven't just populated your database, so I'll show that one to you on a database that has more data in it later. Okay, share register is the next one. This is also, we introduced this one about a week ago, which is very exciting. If you click on add record, Then select your company name, add whoever the certificate's going to. Or you can pick a class of share as well as the date that it has been issued. Select the number of shares, pardon. And as soon as you click Save and New, the system will generate it as a record and give you a little icon on the right-hand side where you can find the certificate and just export that to send to the client so they can sign it. Once they send it back, you can attach it to this record as a signed document by clicking on the record, then navigating to Documents and adding it over here. If you add another, Andrew is a bad example for a share now, but if you add someone else, then you will see that the system calculates the percentage for you. And then as soon as you seed the shares, then it will adjust the percentage again. So the more you add, it will keep on doing the calculations for you. The share register you can also access through the client table, as well as any of the other tasks. So if you scroll down, you can see all of the tasks that you have switched on for that particular client, and then you can just navigate to the task through the top panel over here. And then again, start working on the task immediately or generate a share certificate by going to the share certificate tab and then clicking on add record. Then we get to our first department, which is ad hoc tasks. The firm and ad hoc tasks, this is the first manual table that I spoke about. So once you click on add record, you'll have the option of selecting from quite a few ad hoc tasks that we don't know when they'll pop up. So we just gave them to our users as a list. This is quite nice if you want to keep time against a meeting, for example, or travel time. You can just select them as a task, assign it to a client, and then add a status like in progress or complete. Assign the accountant, a partner if you need, the due date, and then save it. So once you click save, you can start tracking time against any task by clicking on the record, and then the little timer will pop up in the corner. If you click on that and hover over it, then you'll see it shows you which client and which task you're busy working with. This time then goes straight to the time log that you can find at the bottom left. So here you'll find all of your time. I'll show you quite a populated database now. Once you click stop, then the time will update with the end time. It'll also give you a duration in hours, in decimals, hours rounded, and decimals rounded. This rounding depends on how you set up your structure. So to change your rounding, whether it's an hour per minute or 15 minutes, you can do that within the firm settings that you find over here under firm settings. You'll just select the rounding for your firm and then click save. Here you can also add quite a bit of details for your firm that we will use later on in the app. For example, the accounting system that you use. We are busy finalizing our integration with Sage. That will be going live soon. And then we also have a integration with Sas that's quite in an advanced stage. We're just doing some tests on their side. Okay, once you're done with the task, select it and then change the status from in progress to complete. That task will then, now my entire share bar here is in the way. But once you change the status, it will vanish from firm and ad hoc tasks to the archive table. If you want to get it back, you can just change the status to in progress again, and it'll hop to the main table. The next table is specialized tasks. This is for anything that is reoccurring per client. So anything that you would normally have to keep a note of, like paying suppliers, for example. You no longer have to put that in a notebook or on a calendar. You can now schedule it in the app for any client by going to the specialized scheduler table right at the bottom and adding a record. Here you can name the task anything you want. So anything you want, and then pick a client to assign it against. A scheduled date. This is when the system will remind you of this task, when it will schedule in the feed, and then the due date when it needs to be done by, as well as a department. You assign a department here for billing purposes. So depending on the rate that you have for the specific task, then pick an accountant and a partner and manager if you want. As soon as you click save and new, this task will schedule in the specialized task table, and it will continue to do so on the first Friday of every month with the due date on the 25th, like we scheduled it for. And once again, once the task is done, you can just change the status to complete, and it'll move to the archive table. This will also give you a reminder in the all tasks due table, so you don't miss it. Then we get to the accounting department. This is our first one that we automatically schedule for you based on the client information that you gave us. So all of the ones that we automatically schedule, you'll see they have little check boxes. So as you progress through the task, you can just check the check boxes, save, and then come back to that same record. It will remember how far you were, and you can continue working on it. So once you click on it, start your timer, expand the screen, do the work that you need to do, and then keep progress. Once you're done, all of them also have a little notes tab. So you can add a note to each task. And then once you're done, change the status to completed. That will then again hop to the accounting archive table. So your list gets shorter and shorter as your month progresses. When you do the initial upload, we might schedule, depending on when in the month you do the upload, we might schedule some tasks that you have actually already completed. So to sort that out, you can just select all of the tasks that are done. And then you can do a bulk archive. So you would click on this little tab over here, select mark complete, and click run. Then all of those tasks will automatically be archived. Okay, VAT returns. Again, you have the ability to indicate whether a recon has been done, sent, submitted, the return type, whether it's been paid, whether VAT has been saved, the verification has been done, and then see the partner and manager for this particular client. SIPC annual returns. You can add the return fee as well as the turnover amount. And once again, change the status. The registration number will pull through automatically, so you don't have to worry about that one. For SIPC tasks, this is another manual table. It works by clicking on add record in the top corner and then picking any task from the list. If there's a task that we haven't included, please let us know, and then we'll add that task to our list. The due dates, the system will automatically calculate, as well as the day counter. I'll show that to you now. Then you can assign an accountant, a partner, a manager. The date uploaded, we'll go through that. So once you've assigned all of this, click save and edit, and a new tab will pop up on the right-hand corner. That just shows you all the documents and steps needed for this particular task. Then we have added little hot links to download templates. So templates that we have created that you can use just to make your life a bit easier. So the template will look like this, and you can just send that to your client. Once you have uploaded all of the documents and you select a date, the system will calculate the due date for you automatically, and then from tomorrow, the day counter will start counting. So when you come into the app, you can just easily see where you can follow up based on the day counter, and you don't have to calculate that on a calendar anymore. Okay, next we have financials and income tax. Again, here you have the ability to track whether it's been sent, the client has signed, the auditor has signed, the opening balance, etc., up to whether the verification has been done. Okay, next we come to compensation fund. Again, here you can see all of the checkboxes that we offer. Once you are done with the task, just mark it as complete. Same for EMP 201. EMP 501. And then the payroll. The payroll will be based on the settings that you switched on in the client table. So you have monthly payroll based on the custom due date that you selected, as well as weekly payroll or bi-weekly payroll, also based on the dates. You'll see you can track whether it's been run, sent, or approved. And wherever it is a bi-weekly payroll, there'll be a little BI next to the period. Where it's just weekly, it'll have a W as well as the week counter. Then for U-filing, these are all of the checkboxes. And again, your little notes column if you want to add a note. And you can chat against any of them whenever you need. Our last department is the tax department. So you have income tax for individuals. Sorry, there's a phone ringing in the background. There are quite a few ticks over here that you can keep track of, as well as the amount owing, whether the refund is a payment, refund, or null, as well as the return finalized date. For provisional tax, you can add the gross income, taxable income, estimated taxable income, as well as indicate whether it's been calculated, sent, submitted, or paid. Then we get to Sas Tasks. This is our last manual table. Again, you'll click on Add Record. I think at this point, I'm just going to go to the other database quickly, just to show you what this looks like once the day counter has a few tasks against it. Okay, so here you can see the day counter has counted for these tasks. It has not for these because I have not selected an upload date. Okay, you can also under Sas Tasks add a Sas appointment date as well as an internal due date, and the system will show reminders for all of those within the All Tasks Due table. To add a new Sas task, click on Add Record in the top corner. Then assign your task as well as the client. Make a note, again, add a status, an accountant, period, internal due dates if you have, the date uploaded once it has been uploaded, a Sas appointment date. You can add the case number, as well as the date when it was completed. If you click Save and Edit on the Sas Tasks, it will again take you to a Sas subtask. I just want to pick one with quite a few in the subtask. So again, these are all the documents and steps needed to complete this task. Where Sas had links available to online forms that you could fill in or downloads of documents, we have attached all of them in the download link. So you can just click on the little hyperlink and it'll take you to the Sas website where you can download or immediately fill in the form. Okay, and then look at that day counter again to know when you can escalate. Our last automatic table is turnover tax. This will indicate the period, as well as if you have a Sas appointment date, you can save it against the record and it'll schedule in the all tasks due table. Then you can indicate whether it's been received, declared, submitted, paid, track the entire process. And then we get to the time log department. So for this database, we have added quite a few records here for timekeeping. So all of whenever you press the timer, it will all display in the time log table. And we do ask that you check it as regularly as possible as a manager or as the admin member, just so you know if you query with a staff member that it's still fresh in their minds and they know why they did what they did. For example, if you see any of the start and end times that don't make sense, or if you have a record that has like a 36-hour duration, or what often happens is over the weekend you get back and 72 hours have been logged, then you can just go to the record, click on it, and then change the start or the end time depending on when, for example, the final email was sent or when they know they got in their car. You can just adjust the times. Once you are happy, you can come and mark everything that's internal. Sorry, you would just go to the time authorized first. So as the admin member, as the manager checking the time, you would go to time authorized and then select everything that is basically internal, and you would mark them as internal. That will immediately go to the archive table then and won't be included in the billing process. So anything else that you want to include in your invoicing, you can change the status to mark invoice pending, or if it has already been invoiced for, just indicate that, yeah, marked invoice, and that'll immediately move to the archive as well. But for the ones that you want to include in the invoice, change it to mark invoice pending and click run. Then under the time invoice pending table, you can do all your final checks before you actually run the invoice. So once you have checked all of that, you go to the process table, and here you'll find a record that shows generate invoices. You can schedule a date for it to happen automatically, say on the final day of the month or the first of the month or whenever you want, then the process will run automatically. Otherwise, you can just change the action to process, and click save. Then it will show you that the last time it was run was today. You go to invoice, you'll see a breakdown of all of these invoices as well as their invoice lines. This will then use to push onto Sage once that goes live. So you can continue the billing process from there. But also what happens once that is done in the reports, if you go to time to invoice, then it'll again give you a from and to breakdown. So you can select the month over here, as well as the status, whether you want to see pending, invoice pending, like we are at now. So where we have authorized it, it can go through. Or you can see where the rate group is missing. So if I just tick all of them. And we click view. Then you'll see a rate type, whether it's hourly or fixed, the status. So where a rate group is missing, you now know that you can just go and adjust that within your rates table. So it can start billing for that particular task. You can also see at any point in the month how much revenue you have generated per client. And then if you scroll further to the right, a breakdown per staff member. So over here, you can see David, Genevieve, Jane, all of our staff members and how many tasks they have completed, as well as how much money they have brought in for that month. This is also a good way to see who are high performers within your team and who's really not pulling their own weight, like Danae in this example. And you can go and query that with them. So this accountant times should also work now that we have data. No data available. Okay, I'll have to query why this one is not working today. What else did I want to show? So all of the time that has already been invoiced, that'll show up in the time log archive for historical purposes. Then, as I said earlier, against any of these records, you can add a document and that will save against the record, even if you move it to archive. So you'll always be able to go back to that record and find the relevant documents. Process, so this is where we generate our emails as well. The first one is that request for them to send bank statements. So you can, again, schedule it to run at any point in the month from this list that we have over here. Then it will automatically send out to anyone where the request bank statement is active and it has not been checked as received yet. So over here, it shows request statement. That is what you switched on in the client table, and the staff have that it has been received yet. So once that process runs, it will send an email out to FitHop again until we come here and check the statements received checkbox, and then it will not send out to them again. And if you don't want us to send out an email, we won't email your clients for you until you give us permission to do so. And you do that by changing the schedule date or by running the process yourself, clicking on process over here and saving, then it will send out to all of those clients. Then for tax payment due, this one you won't use right now because this has passed, but it will send out a provisional tax payment reminder. So that one I don't have an example for right now, but for the send bank statements, it will look like this. This is the email that will go out, and it will have a reply link going directly to the accountant assigned to that specific client. Once they click reply, the accountant will receive the email. And then we have services not used. Services not used, that kind of works in the opposite way of our other tables. So wherever you see a checkbox, this is a service that you're not currently offering to that client. And the way we work this out is we base it on entity type, saying that for the specific entity type, these are kind of the industry recommended services that you could offer to them, but that you currently aren't. So this helps you to upsell to your current clients and say, well, listen, can't I do your EMP 201 for you as well, seeing as I'm doing so many of your other tasks? Once you go and then switch the EMP 201 on, it will change to an X over here. And as soon as you switch on the EMP 501 for this client, then their particular record will disappear, because now you're offering all of the tasks to them that we think you are able to. Okay, if we scroll further down, you find a resources tab over here. That takes you to all of our blog posts. So this is kind of like the help center where you can easily find anything you might not know how to do. It also has a chat icon again that links to support, so we can help you out with anything you're struggling with. So for any query that you have, you can just go to this help icon.
Okay.
And it'll take you to an email link that goes directly to support. So you'll add your email and then the note, and send, and we'll be in touch and help you with whatever's happening. Then we also have a dark mode function. Once that is switched on, then the color of the app will change. Dark mode is quite nice just because it's not as strenuous on your eyes if you work on your computer for long durations of time. And I think that's everything. Genevieve, I don't know if I've missed anything.
Sorry, trying to unmute. No, thank you very, very much, Lynn. You've done very well this morning. Please, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask us. Sometimes it can be quite daunting to load a whole new system of data and so on. And, you know, even if you've got the recording, sometimes what happens is you just can't find the right spot. And so use the chat, use the help facility, let us know where you're stuck. We definitely will help you, and our response time is quite quick. So don't hesitate, don't get stuck. If you get stuck, we don't want you to get frustrated. We'd rather have you communicate with us, and we can help you immediately to get through whatever area you're stuck with. Thanks, Lynn. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And again, we just invite you to pop us a note whenever you need help. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.